Thanks, Jeremiah. Jazz go 6-2 in the preseason, which doesn't matter at all. But hey, the way the team is performing, it does matter. Joining us to dig deeper into the Jazz, radio voice of the Jazz, David Locke. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Tom.
Homage to the Giants.
Yeah, that's
we gave
pretty
it
sweet.
away.
I know. I was a kid and I followed them. They never won the World Series. It's still sweet when you're 40+ years old and they win the World Series.
And they win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Let's talk about the Jazz. Big picture, how are they set to start the season? Wednesday against the Mavs without Dirk Nowitzki.
I really like the way this team's lining up. I think that Kevin O'Connor did a fabulous job in the offseason. They had weaknesses. They've addressed them. Ty Corbin's got a full training camp. And all year long, the #1 issue was if the young guys develop, that's where the real growth is going to be, those 4 young guys. And all of them had very good preseasons, including obviously one of them was out of this world.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in just a second. The new guys, Mo and Marvin and Randy Foye, how have they integrated? It seems like, I mean, chemistry is important. It seems like they all get along and they're playing well.
Well, I think the fans are really going to love Marvin Williams because unless you see him every night, I don't think you entirely understand what he brings to your team. Obviously, we've seen his outside shooting. And I think I may have told you this once before, but last year, Mo, Marvin, and Randy Foye combined to make more threes than the entire Jazz roster. So I think they really bring an element they haven't had before. Foy's shown, some nice point guard play, and I think Mo Williams brings a toughness level that Ty Corbin really, really wants in this team.
And obviously, priority 1, get better shooters. And I know it's the preseason, but still hitting shots is hitting shots, and they are #1 in the NBA in 3-point shooting in the preseason.
And I'm with you 100% that, hey, it's just the preseason. Teams aren't scouting, and so therefore you can't. But you know what? Last year's team, without any scouting, was not going to be #1 in the preseason or #1 in anything when it came to 3-point shooting. Marvin Williams, last year, left corner 3, 46%. Yeah. We'll watch that all year. Left corner 3 with Marvin. And Mo, as you're seeing right here, he likes it kind of high up and on that area. These guys are bona fide shooters. There's the left corner 3, and it's going to be a big difference to this team. It's going to help the spacing. Gordon Hayward's going to love it. Big Al's going to love it down low. Millie's going to love it as well. All right, let's talk about, you mentioned the 2 young guys. I can't believe Cantor and Derek Favors, 20 and 21. It's unbelievable. Let's focus in on Ennis. Can I just giggle when you say that?
I know. I mean, you got to be. SpongeBob, that's the latest reincarnation. 13 points, almost 10 boards in 21 minutes in the preseason, shooting 58%, 74% from the free throw line. Again, preseason, I get that, but he has improved.
Right, but that right there is against J.J. Hickson. That's the starting center for the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, early on, he was going against some guys that made you wonder a little bit, but as that preseason went on, those are legit. And then when you get to plays like this, he couldn't do that last year.
He blocks it, and look who's running the floor. I mean,
right. I mean, that's a crazy combination. And, even here, he's Favors, and then he's getting the rebound. These guys, these are not plays Ennis could have made last year. He changed his body dramatically, worked really hard. And for all his goofing and everything else about him that's 19 years old, that little thing you saw right there, that quick pop back up, he's not making that play last year.
And you need guys with personality. I think he keeps Big Al loose. They're calling him, Hollywood
Turk is the latest.
So, he's always a fun guy for us to cover as well.
Of him is he's got this new iPad, and it's got a pink cover, and it's got a silly little screensaver I'm not going to share with you.
Thank you.
And I'm on KSL, I understand. And if you're not letting Saturday Night Live go, you're certainly not letting that go. But you know why I got the iPad? To watch film. Great. So in the midst of the fact that this guy's this character, the reason he got the iPad is because after every shoot-around, Cantor's meeting with coaches to understand the game better because of his lack of background knowledge.
And again, he's just 20. It's crazy. All right, crazy. Twitter friends, @RobertGriffin, future of the Jazz is Cantor, Burks, talk about him a little bit, Favors, and Hayward. How many minutes of all those guys played together so far in the preseason? Good question.
I don't think they've played a lot together, actually, but I think there's an interesting question, which is if Favors and Cantor are really the future, do you want them to learn how to play together? Do you keep Millsap and Jefferson together? Do you then play Favors and Cantor together just because you're... But you know what? You know what the Jazz are about? The Jazz, the organization, is about winning this year. Right. You know what the fan base is all worried? The core four, this and that. No, the Jazz are looking at every player on this roster and saying, are you helping us win? Because as young as Cantor and Favors might be, Al Jefferson is what, 29? Yeah. Paul Millsap's not old. Marvin's 26. So if these other guys who have more experience are better fits to help them winning for the future, it's not like they're falling off into some walker tomorrow. No. These guys all have another 6, 7, 8, 9 years in their career as productive players.
As you know, 7 of them in the last year of the deal, so then the business side comes in. Let's talk about the early schedule. Murderous. 8 of the first 11 on the road, 18 of the first 29 on the road. In the NBA, they don't care. Nobody's going to cry for the Jazz. So there's a challenge for Ty right away.
But I like it.
I do too.
Because until we get a schedule where we get 50 home games and 32 road games, we've got to play 41 at home and 41 on the road. So therefore, if that's the case, let's do all the games early. I mean, let's play them early. Let's let the team bond.
While other teams maybe aren't bonding either.
Right, and the snow's not very good until December or January, so let's go on the road in November. A
little selfish plug for yourself there. Nielsen, MB, who do you see as an all-star on the Jazz this year? Who takes their game to the next level this year?
I don't know.
Too many minutes.
Well, it's interesting because Kevin Love's hurt and Dirk's hurt, so there's some openings. I don't know if this team has an all-star, and I think that's going to be the real question on this team, is how do guys deal with the fact that they're getting 4 or 5 less minutes, they're getting 2 or 3 less shots. I mean, that's like, Tyrone finally brought it up the other day, and he actually went way out of his way. I'm sure you ran the sound bites, but he went way out of his way to bring it up, and he brought it up 4 different times in one day, and I think he waited to, all right, it's time to start addressing this. I'm going to address it through the media. The issue that will define this team is with those 4 young kids who are developing, with those 8 guys that have contracts that end at the end of the season. How do they all deal with playing as a group and as a team? And hopefully that road trip we just talked about brings them together, and they have great guys. You've covered them. Your guys have been out there. You've been out there. These are really special guys. But everyone's got an ego. Everyone's been in this league for a reason.
I know. It'll be a lot of fun, and I know you're not too excited. Wednesday's the opener against the Mavs.